Alrighty, people.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different today, but we are thrilled. This is one of our favorite streams during draft week. We do it every single year, and essentially what we do is we together, you
We
plus
get crazy.
us, we create an NFL mock draft, and we let you guys vote all the way through. So you'll be
We do something
voting
special.
for the first pick. You'll be voting for the second pick, for the third pick. You'll be voting for your favorite team. And ultimately, Badaki and I, it's a democracy. So whatever the chat decides, that is together, collectively, we make the mock happen. So it's going to be fun. But I am absolutely thrilled as we are getting closer and closer to the NFL draft. I cannot wait to see who the Commanders take it to. I can't wait to see if the Chiefs take a wide receiver. I think there's a chance, by the way, the Chiefs, I know it sounds crazy. I still think there's a chance that they could go defensively at pick 32. I still think there's a chance. They like those cornerbacks, a Kool-Aid could fall, a Chop Robinson they could fall in love with.
Big Choppy?
It worked for them. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Maybe they go wide receiver round 2, but with the Commanders, we'll talk about it when the pick is up, I'm sure.
Sure.
What's up, Daniel Macy? Let us know who's in the chat. He says 3 days until the NFL draft.
Which is crazy. Single digits, baby.
Yeah, and we are absolutely thrilled. By the way, I guess that is like a good segue to let you guys know if you want to hang out with us during the NFL draft, that it's very possible. Every year we live stream over on our redraft channel. So I'll send that link out to you guys right now if you want to join us. Last year you would have seen me have an actual meltdown. I look back on it, I'm like, yeah, what the hell is this guy's problem?
Well, you had a meltdown the last 2 years.
That is true.
It wasn't just this past year. It was the last 2.
That is true.
Who the hell is Jamin Davis?
Yes, so it is multiple years in a row the Commanders have made terrible picks. And to be fair, I was right both times. They took Jamin Davis. Who did I want, Badaki? You remember? Do you remember?
JOK, I think.
I wanted JOK. JOK's been a better player. And then last year, they took Emmanuel Forbes. Who did I want?
Gonzalez.
Christian Gonzalez. And he looked like a star before he got injured. So, I don't know, dude. I may put me in the room.
Come on.
Put me in the room, coach.
Listen to me.
But anyway, if you guys want to watch us react to the draft live, feel free to join us over there on the redraft channel. I just put the link in the chat. And you see that little notify me button. If you want to be notified when we go live, then that's how you can be notified. There's so many great streams out there.
Over there already. Put your hot takes. How about that? Put your hot takes in the chat.
I love that.
In the redraft channel, so we can have it on before the NFL draft. So be like, okay, hey, you said it.
Yeah.
You said your hot take.
But we'll be going live, I think an hour or so before the draft, and we'll be doing our final NFL mock draft, and then watching the draft, and then obviously after the first round, we'll go live on the Dynasty channel and do some rookie drafts for you guys, with you guys. Andrew, what's up? I see he says kind of weird. JJ's odds are increasing to go to number 2. I saw that as well. What's up, Tim? Lloyd says he loved that.
It was really similar last year, though.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'll say it was similar with Will Levis for his odds to go up. Didn't it go up last year?
Yeah, well, last year, this time, everyone said Levis is a lock to the Texans at 2. So,
yeah,
keep that in mind. I think the more reliable reports actually happen on the day of the NFL draft. Like, the day you're waking up at the NFL draft, it's like, Commanders are going Jayden Daniels. Like that's the kind of reports that come out. Now, sometimes those reports are wrong because last year we saw Will Levis. Everyone said Will Levis, Will Levis, Will Levis. That was a wrong report. But if you remember correctly, there was a lot of correct reports last year as well. So the day of the NFL draft is when you get the most volume of reports, the most correct reports, and obviously there are still some wrong ones. What's up, Waffle Boy? Welcome in. Alejandro Cuevon. Harrison says, as a Chiefs fan, I'm thinking there's a solid chance Veach goes defense for the first pick. I feel the same way, man. Most of us Chiefs fans feel like it could be defense there, but of course,
well, you lost Snead, and Jones is old as hell, but he got the contract extension, so
he's still one of the better DTs, 100%. But he is getting older. What's up, Jonathan? Welcome in. Drew says, all I want on Thursday is for the Titans to take an offensive lineman. What's up, Saxter? Good to have you here, man. Brandon, what's up? Welcome in. We appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Hey, do us a favor and smash that like button as today's stream is getting going. This is a really fun stream that we do every single year. And quite simply put, you guys are going to help us together as a community. We will be voting on a mock draft. And the way we will play this today is what you think is going to happen. Okay? Not what you believe should happen, because there's two ways you can do an NFL mock draft. It's based off of my opinion of these players. This is what I would do if I was a GM. But we're going to play this in a different light. What you believe will happen. That's what we're going to be voting on together. So every single pick, we will put up a poll, and you guys will have a chance to decide. I don't know. Personally, I don't think there's a need to actually put up a poll for the Chicago Bears. Can we agree here?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. There really shouldn't be.
All right. So with the Chicago Bears, I don't think we need to make this very complicated. They're going to go the route of Caleb Williams. That feels like a huge lock. I feel like it'd be a waste of time to spend time on that personally, if that makes sense. So at pick number 2, there's certainly a debate right now. With the second pick in the 24 draft, the Commanders select. And that's what we have to decide. I think Jaden Daniels is an option there. Drake May is an option there. I really don't think they'd go another way, but I guess we could put J.J. McCarthy there as well. Yeah. And I don't think that they trade back. Do you agree?
I agree.
All right, so that poll is out there in the world. And let's see what the community thinks as these votes come in. And we will do some trade backs, by the way, as well.
100%. We can definitely talk about trades. I mean, at the moment, when it comes down to the Commanders, what I'm hearing is Jaden Daniels locked in going with the second overall pick. Obviously, you guys will make that decision in the chat here when it comes down to this. But, I mean, those are all the reports. The odds are kind of fluctuating every single day. But Jaden Daniels is still the guy. Now, is this a smokescreen or for what, though? Like, why wouldn't they just say who they're taking at number 2? Because they know they're not going to trade back. They know they're not going to take another player on the offensive line. They're not going to take a wide, unless they take Martin Harrison Jr. and they just think that he's God, which we all say we
you
disagree
don't trade away
with
Sam
because
Howell
they
and go wide receiver at 2.
Exactly. So, like, what are they doing? Why not just say, welcome home, Jaden?
Yeah, well, if you look at the draft odds right now, this is just FanDuel. There's a lot of other sports books out there, but with the second overall pick, the odds are negative 340. So Jaden Daniels is a heavy favorite. Is basically is the move here. Drake May not far off, but it's really feels like it's one of those two names. But here's the thing, I was actually listening I love the PFF guys. I love their podcast. I love what they do. I love Stock Exchange. The NFL Stock Exchange guys. They're incredible.
I love those guys. Trevor
I love Mike Renner's podcast. Anything NFL draft, I just eat that. I eat it up. Okay. And what a lot of them have mentioned, which is fair, is that none of this Jaden Daniels talk has come from the Washington building. It has all been from people outside of the building. It's all been people's opinions based off of what they have seen outside of the building. Now, I follow a lot of Washington blogs, and there's certain Washington blogs that are like, well, got to keep in mind, Spielman, the guy who works with CBS, by the way, great podcast as well with the first pick.
Sure.
Spielman, who was in Washington's building, who was with the GM, they were looking for a new head coach together, and he keeps saying he thinks Drake May is the pick. That doesn't mean he has inside sources. That's just his opinion. So I really, truly think it's a 50-50 toss-up right now. I think it could go either way. As a fan of the team, I'm completely happy with either of them. There's another narrative, Daniel Jeremiah, I think it was throughout, who said, well, in my opinion, you think about the success that Dan Quinn has had with Atlanta. He had a big quarterback in Matt Ryan. I just think he might want a big quarterback like Drake May. So there's two sides of this that could make a ton of sense.
Yeah, But Cliff wants a mobile quarterback. I think though.
But
That's
Drake
the
is not
difference.
immobile. You're not drafting Mac Jones. This isn't a Mac Jones
100%.
Trey Lance situation. This is
And I
a
think that's why.
RG3 or Justin Herbert, Josh Allen,
And I think
or
that's why
Daniel
there's such a
Jones
toss.
situation.
That's why it's such a toss, because you can clearly get rushing opportunity and ability to manipulate the pocket with Jaden Daniels. It feels like significantly more than what you could with Drake May. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I mean, I've even heard reports that I don't know how real this is, but Jaden Daniels' visit with Washington wasn't successful. They said it was bad.
So that is such a funny story, and I see a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people in the chat who are talking, and we're gonna get to the people's thoughts here in a second. But I kind of loved what they did. I don't know, like first off, I just love the chaos that it has caused throughout the NFL draft community, and in my opinion, what you don't get to see in a one-on-one interview is how someone would handle adversity or a position that they aren't comfortable being in, or an uncomfortable, unfamiliar situation. All these quarterbacks are going to top 30 visits. They're in a room one-on-one, multiple days, or at dinner one-on-one, and the Commanders are like, you know what? Let's fuck around and find out, right? Let's put all of these guys in Top Golf. And one of the narratives that I found absolutely ridiculous, and if you guys are always consuming NFL draft content, you'll know who it came from. I'm not going to shout. I'm not going to throw them on the block or to crucify them or anything.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
one of the narratives that I heard that I thought was absolutely ridiculous was one very big NFL personality said, well, that's just completely unfair because if a guy isn't good at golf, he's going to hate being there. I'm sorry.
He's gonna hate.
Have you ever been to Top Golf? It is full of people who are bad at playing golf. Do you know what I mean? Like, Top Golf is not where people go who are golf professionals, who are out there 3, 4, 5 times a week on the course, right?
Sure.
You get families at Top Golf, you get guys at Top Golf, girls at Top Golf. Everyone's smacking balls, having no idea what they're doing. They'll hit it.
Smacking balls.
They'll miss the. You know what I'm saying? Like, Top Golf is. No one's gone to Top Golf and be like, I'm super uncomfortable here, actually. I don't know if I can have fun today. This is uncomfortable. So I just thought that was ridiculous. But let's see what the chat says. We got Chris here. What's up? What's up, Jeff? What's up, Dave?
How we
Welcome
feeling?
in. Chasing says, I think they take Jaden and try to smooth things over, even if his camp is trying to push them to pass. Yeah, at the end of the day, Jaden Daniels doesn't get to decide where he's going to go.
And that's the other thing. All the other reports.
Yeah.
All the other reports that he wants to go to other teams, which I've heard. He said he has connection with the Raiders. The one I've seen is like he has connection with the Raiders and he really wants to go there. Nowhere else. He hasn't said. I haven't heard reports saying I don't really care where he goes.
I don't know if anyone has seen Shannon Sharp's podcast. He and Ocho Cinco interviewed Jay Daniels last night.
Like
I don't know if you saw that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about Washington. He was like, Washington's got some dogs at wide receiver. So it doesn't sound like Jaden is off Washington. We don't even know how to interpret. By the way, here's the thing. We're going so deep on this. But the Commanders, Jaden Daniels' agent, which Agent Butler is his name on Twitter, the only thing he put out was this emoji. We don't know what that means. We have no idea what that means. There's so much room for interpretation. But Jaden Daniels might be frustrated. Maybe he's not. I mean, we really don't know. Andrew is saying they were trying to make it casual because they know they want Daniels. I know an intern who says it's a lock. Anthony says Washington will take Daniels. Jaden is a lock. Brizzleton, what's up? Welcome in. Chef says Drake May is a pet rock named Washington, so it's a lock. Has a pet rock named Washington. What's up, Maddie? Welcome in. Joshua says, y'all see the Chiefs made Reed the highest paid coach, as he deserves, and locked him up to 2029. I love it.
Yep.
Chasen says, I get that perspective, but it's bizarro world casting call element. That's fair. I think, look, at the end of the day, if what Washington did rubbed you the wrong way and you're really hurt, your feelings hurt, you're not the pick then. Sorry, are your feelings hurt, buddy?
Are your feelings hurt? Are you okay?
You upset you had to go to Top Golf and, with a bunch of other people and you're going to get paid tens of millions of dollars on your rookie contract? Are you upset? No. Honestly, if you're upset, you don't deserve to be the number 2 overall pick. But I don't think Jaden Daniels is actually that cut by it. Do you know what I mean? It could have just been absolutely blown up. But what's up, Styles? Welcome in. But all right. That being said, we've talked enough. 71 votes in the chat, and 58% of you voted for Jaden Daniels as the pick. 39% Drake May. So it looks like a majority of people are saying Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, this makes sense.
Jaden Daniels is going to be the pick. What ultimately do you think is the pick, Badaki? What do you think it will be?
It's Jaden Daniels confirmed. I think this is where the draft starts at pick 3 here with the New England Patriots. Caleb Williams to the Bears, Jaden Daniels to the Washington Commanders here. And I think this is exactly where things can go absolutely insane.
Yes, and I'm going to give you guys a lot of options here in the chat because there are really 4 ways I could see this going.
Yeah.
Okay? And I just put it in the chat there. The 4 ways that I could see this going is they stick and pick with Drake May or J.J. McCarthy. They draft Marvin. I think that's most unlikely of the 3. Or they trade back. I really think the Patriots are a potential trade back team. I'm not saying they will.
I think so as well.
But you look at that roster, how barren it is of talent. I really think this is a team that could potentially trade back. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people think a lot of reports I'm hearing is trade back. I mean, the first thing that you hear out of almost every single media outlet when it comes down to the Patriots are open for business. The Patriots are listening to other offers. The Patriots are trying to understand what more can they get to move back. Will be interested to see what they would do here. So let's see what the community thinks.
Yeah, we will see what the community thinks. And as they do, we'll see what they said. Drusum says, bro, anyone complaining about Topgolf is off my draft board. What's up, Justin? Welcome in. And that is true, Andrew. Jaden Daniels didn't complain, but we don't even know if his agent complained. Here's the thing. All the agent did was quote tweet something with this emoji. Sure. We don't know what that means. Isn't that crazy, Badaki? The entire news cycle for the last week has been Jaden Daniels is pissed, his agent is pissed, and no one even knows what they think because all it was that could mean so many things. Maybe there is not a more open-ended emoji than this. Like that. Do you know how much that could mean? But yeah, it's funny. Brandon says, I think we, the Pats, are scared effing with the first round, so we trade and move back. So Pats fan here says that they can move back. Kevin says, May to the Vikings at 3. Trade back to the Vikings. Let's see. I mean, you guys have the power here. Right now, y'all have the power. Vote in the chat, and whatever happens in the chat is what will happen. See, Brizzleton, look at what Brizzleton just said in the chat. He's angry.
I'm trying to find it.
He's angry.
Yeah, he's angry. He's angry. 100%.
There's no other conclusion to that emoji other than he is angry right now. No, we don't know what that means. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
Okay, so I'm going to give you guys 30 more seconds to put your votes in the chat. Right now, 61 votes. So yeah, vote in the chat. There is a poll in the chat. That is how you vote. Literally could mean anything, honestly. What's up, Michael? Welcome in.
How we feeling?
Aaron says, if Daniels goes to the Commanders and May goes to the Patriots, can they be successful, or will they likely be a Trevor Lawrence situation? I think, just my opinion, it's been my opinion since December, but I don't think it matters where Jaden Daniels goes. I think he'll be a good fantasy quarterback. I can't tell you he's going to be a successful NFL quarterback, but I have no doubt that he'll be a successful fantasy quarterback. Same questions we have about A-Rich right now. Different players, not comparing them as players or as prospects, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, I completely agree. I actually wouldn't be surprised. This is my hot take, and I'll throw it out now. And it's not really a hot take because where he's on the vote, I think it could be J.J. McCarthy. Okay. That may sound crazy, and that's just because you think of the last time they drafted a Michigan quarterback, it was Tom Brady.
Sure.
I just think that would be exciting for a lot of these, in my opinion, potentially Patriots fans, for the history that they've seen. Well, you can't go wrong with a Michigan quarterback, apparently. But at the same time, we did hit crazy on Tom Brady here. And I think this is why they want to trade back. They want to trade back because they want JJ McCarthy, and they think taking him here at 3, knowing that they can get more capital and get JJ, trading back is exactly what they're trying to do here. If I'm like really trying to giga brain it, that's what my thought process is.
Yeah.
But
well, at the end of the day, you and I have no power of what actually
Not at all.
happens. This is the community's mock draft. And you guys have officially voted with 76 votes, 51% of the vote, with a third pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. The New England Patriots select Drake May, quarterback, UNC. So Drake May comes off the board, and he is going to be playing with who? We don't know. Pop Douglas? Hunter Henry? Antonio Gibson's going to be playing in the slot?
I'll be honest with you.
We don't know.
Ever since CJ did that whole thing with, I mean, last year we thought CJ had nobody. He had Nico and who else? He had Nico and Tank Dell. Nico was nothing. I think you got to give these guys a full-on chance. I mean, next year, if Drake May is the new CJ Stroud, Demario Douglas is a top 15 wide receiver, and you're saying, holy shit, Kendrick Bourne is there as well. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying you just got to, I think I want to throw that narrative out the door of like, who does he have now? Because we did the same thing last year with CJ with the really skewed thing. Now that's a one-off thing as well, so, which is difficult.
Yeah, look, that is fair. The Patriots probably are going to be able to put together a better group than we currently envision, and they have some draft picks to do so. But look, now is your chance, guys, to vote for the Cardinals pick here. Now, we have heard multiple reports that the Cardinals are open for business, and I just want to be clear. I only put 2 options. The reason I put 2 options, if you think they're going wide receiver, just vote Marvin. But the reason I only put 2 options because I didn't want to dilute the vote. I want to know the direction you guys think we should go. Is it a trade back or is it a wide receiver? Because there is no other option here for Arizona. I'm sorry. I know Joel, it's great. They're not gonna pass on a wide receiver here. So it's either a trade back or Marvin, Malik, Rome, whoever you think it might be. So you guys vote in the chat now and let me know what you think the direction should be here. Is this a place where someone trades up? You know, is this a place where the Giants jump? Is this a place where finally the Vikings decide to move up and grab a QB? I mean, if we let these quarterbacks fall further, do the Raiders or the Broncos try and jump the Vikings, right? I mean, all these kind of conversations are conversations that we could be having in our head and with ourselves. By the way, if you have yet to do so, do us a favor, smash that like button. Our like goal today is 100. We're already halfway there, so we appreciate y'all big time. Do us a favor and hit that like button as the stream is starting. But what do you think, Badaki? What is your opinion that they'll do? What do you?
I think the Cardinals would either
I really think the Patriots
trade. Like, for
are
example,
a trade
if
back
this
team.
were
I'm
to
not saying
happen
they
with
will.
3,
I
where the
think so as
Patriots
well.
are
But
sticking and getting a quarterback, they would trade back with whichever team wants to go up with the quarterback, because they're happy to go with either Marlon Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors. So, for example, if the Giants were to trade up at 4, they get some capital, and the Chargers want to take Marlon Harrison Jr., they're still buzzing because they have Malik Neighbors and some more draft capital in the future or in this draft. So I think it's a smart move to trade back if they want to go that route. But at the same time, they could get the best wide receiver in the NFL draft as well, and Marlon Harrison Jr., and say, you know what? We also have multiple picks in this draft as well. So I think that's probably the route that they're going to be going.
So at the moment, as we keep saying, it doesn't really matter what you and I think, Badaki, although obviously we're trying to give our opinions and everything, but it really doesn't matter what we think, because ultimately you guys have the power here, and we've given you the option to trade back or to grab Marvin Harrison Jr., and with a whopping 61% of the vote.
There you go.
A whopping 61% of the vote. This is a landslide, okay? With the 4th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver, Ohio State. So Kyler Murray is probably drooling over this pick, and instantly Marvin Harrison Jr. becomes in conversation as a top 5 dynasty wide receiver.
No question.
I mean, how many targets does he get as a rookie?
There's a lot of targets there. Yeah, there is. Sorry, not with Justin Herbert, with Kyler Murray. Yeah, with a lot of targets there. With, you know, Hollywood Brown no longer being there. And we've seen success there with Kyler Murray, which is exciting. Be careful.
Okay, I'm going to make an executive decision here. I know this is the community's mock draft, but you know what, Badaki? You and me, we're part of the community, okay? So I'm going to make an executive decision here. I'm going to make my stamp. You know what? I'm going to give yourself and myself one opportunity to just change the draft up, okay? However you see fit. I'm going to use mine right now, okay? And we are trading back. There's a couple teams on the phone. Couple teams on the phone, okay?
Who's calling?
So your New York Giants are certainly calling. They're a little bit worried. They're like, oh, we actually have no belief in Daniel Jones. I know we keep saying we do, but we don't. We need J.J. McCarthy. But you know what? Another team is calling, and unfortunately, they just have a more enticing option to offer the Los Angeles Chargers here. And that team is the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings, we don't know exactly what the pick is, the package is going to be, okay? Let's say it's their 2 firsts this year, and a first next year. I don't know, guys. I don't know what the trade is. Doesn't really matter exactly what the trade is, okay? But the deal is that the Vikings are moving up, okay? And why are they moving up? Well, because they're worried about your New York Football Giants. They're concerned. They're thinking, I don't believe that these guys like Daniel Jones. I think they want J.J. McCarthy, but we want J.J. McCarthy on our team. So, unfortunately, I'm making an executive decision here, and the Vikings trade up. And with the 5th pick in the draft, the Vikings are going to select J.J. McCarthy here. He is going to be the future of this team. So, all offense in the first 5 picks, 4 quarterbacks in the first 5 picks.
Yeah.
And I've seen the Cardinals trade out a lot. I haven't seen the Chargers trade out as much as I think it's an option. I actually think the Chargers would be more open to a trade back based off the way that they're building their team, based off the strengths of this offensive tackle class. What do you think about the Vikings? What's their chance that they land a quarterback in this draft in the top 5 or 6? What's the chance that they move up with whoever it might be?
In my personal opinion, in this draft class and the caliber of talent that they have here, I think for any top 5 or 6 teams to trade back outside of the top 10, even if you're getting multiple firsts, I think it's not the smartest move. I've been saying this for a while. I don't care if I'm giving you 3 first-round picks, but I'm getting Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm getting Malik Neighbors, some of the best wide receiver prospects since we've been saying the Julio Joneses, like the Calvin, like these amazing players. And you're telling me I'm going to trade outside the top 10 and get multiple firsts? Once again, yes, maybe this team is in a different scenario, but I'm not a big believer of the Vikings trading up or a team trading all the way back to pick 11 and getting 2 firsts in this draft class.
Sure.
But, you know, in this world, J.J. McCarthy going to the Vikings here with the 5th pick, I mean, yeah, that is definitely a thing. I just don't think the team will trade back that far. That's all. I think teams will trade back. I just don't think it will be. I mean, what's that? 6 picks? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind the Cardinals just did that last year, so it certainly is possible. They moved back up. They still got the player they want, and they moved back up. So I think that's something that we don't talk about enough is, yeah, sure, the Chargers or the Cardinals could trade back, but that doesn't mean that if the Chargers or the Cardinals want Joe Alt or Marvin or Malik or Rome, that they can't use those assets that they just got to trade up for the player they already wanted. But again, this is one of those drafts where we're trying to predict what will happen, maybe not what we would do. Would I, if I was a GM of the Vikings,
that's what I'm saying,
spend 2 first-round picks and a future, so 3 altogether, to go out and get JJ? No, I wouldn't. But I think the Vikings, like, at the end of the day, I don't think that they made this trade to get these 2 first-round picks just to stick and be like, whoever's there, we'll take them, and, you know, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. I think it's more likely that JJ falls hypothetically to the Giants rather than the Giants trade. If the Giants are trading up, they're trading up to get Drake May, not JJ McCarthy, and I could be terribly wrong about that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
But I think JJ McCarthy is probably going to fall into whichever team's lap, and that's going to be a great steal. And like if JJ McCarthy falls to the Vikings at 11, the Vikings just has another first round pick in this draft class, which is going to seem incredible if that actually does happen. Yeah, this is very, very interesting here.
So we are moving on to the 6th overall pick. This is your New York Football Giants. The options I put in the chat, Badaki, is Neighbors, Adunze, Alton, a quarterback. I don't know that anything else really made sense to me there. I don't imagine you guys going defense in this heavy offensive class. And I don't see you going quarterback here anymore. Maybe you trade back, but you have to ask yourself who wants to trade up. I can't put a team out there that trades up. So
no, I agree. I think if we have the 6th pick, unless we get a haul from somebody, then we're sticking and we're going to take a wide receiver here, Malik Neighbors and or Rome Odunze.
Yeah.
I doubt we go offensive line, but unless they can play the route, right? Unless what if the Falcons want somebody, and I don't know, or the Bears want a wide receiver and they feel confident and they really want Malik Neighbors, and the Giants are going to trade back knowing that Rome Odunze takes a chance that Rome Odunze is going to fall to them and they get draft capital. That's kind of like only crazy hypotheticals there, but I do believe they take Malik Neighbors here.
Okay. So that is the opinion of a Giants fan here. It's also the opinion of the chat by a wide margin. Malik Neighbors is the vote here. 64% of you guys. So with the 6th pick in the A24 NFL draft, the New York Giants select Malik Neighbors, wide receiver, LSU. And we don't know what you guys are doing in the 2nd round, but at the moment, it looks like another year with Daniel Jones. We don't know for sure if that's going to be the case. Hopefully your offensive line can stay healthy. And maybe you look at free agency next year. Maybe someone like a Jaden Daniels comes out of nowhere next year that you guys can consider drafting. Yeah. But that is the pick. And at the end of the day, it's a huge, huge need for you.
100%. 100%. And I guess just to close it out, I don't think we stick here. I think we go for a quarterback.
Okay. That's what
we've seen in the past with Brian Daboll, Joe Shane, with the Bills. They traded up to get Josh Allen.
Sure.
Right. I know that was a couple years ago, and they took that chance on this quarterback. Whether JJ McCarthy is their Josh Allen or Drake May is their Josh Allen, that's exactly what they're going to be trying to do and trying to trade up. I think they're going to go with the Patriots and trade if they can. But yes, Tennessee Titans on the clock here.
Yes. And I think this is pretty much locked and loaded. I think you see this in literally every NFL mock draft, but I think it just makes so much sense. They already, like, this could have been a Rome Odunze spot. This could have been, enter a team. This could have been a lot of different teams, and it would have made a lot of sense. Or a lot of different wide receivers, and it would have made sense. But with them adding Calvin Ridley, and with their needs on the offensive line, and from everything we've heard, Joe Alt is a clear number 1 tackle in this class. A lot of people are saying he's a top 3 player in the class, a top 4 player in the class. He's a generational tackle prospect. Like, this is your Penei Sewell of the class, right? Sure. So it felt like it was a foregone conclusion to me, and the chat agrees. The biggest landslide so far in the draft, with 84% of the vote. With the 7th overall pick, the Tennessee Titans select Joe Alt, tackle, Notre Dame, and that just makes
Notre Dame
way too much sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, they need an offensive line because last year they struggled all last year. If I'm not mistaken, they were top 5 in giving away sacks, along with the Giants, along with Washington. We saw Will Levis there just getting absolutely shredded. Same thing with Ryan Tannehill early in the season. That's why he got injured.
Yeah.
Right? So getting Joel Alt here to solidify that line would be huge for this offense.
I agree. I agree. So here we are at the 8th overall pick. And, I guess we're kind of changing this on the fly. How would you feel about a trade back here for the Falcons?
For the Falcons, yeah, I think it's pretty. I think it's open, no question, because there's still a wide receiver on the board, and I think the Falcons. There's a multiple teams that they can see trading up to get a wide receiver. That could be the Chargers, that could be the Jets, that can even be the Bears if they want to swap it. We've seen so many other reports like the Colts trading up to try and get somebody. So yeah, I'm a huge advocate for the Falcons moving back because they have their wide receivers. They have their key players, right? So they're not going to go tight end.
I'm going to leave this one up to the chat. I think we should. I'm going to go ahead and advocate. Yeah, am I pushing my agenda? I think we should because I only see the Falcons going defense, and I think they'd be happy with a lot of options. And I think they can trade down to a couple different teams. And you're right, there is still Rome Odunze on the board. That to me feels like, that feels like it could be a prime trade back spot. And if they want a quarterback,
for the Chargers.
The Chargers could make sense, yeah, because they just lost out on the tackle that they love. The Chargers make a ton of sense, actually.
I think the Chargers make a ton of sense.
It's a deep tackle class. They could address tackle at pick 23 now that they made that trade back.
Yeah.
Could they do the move that the Cardinals did last year and trade back up for their guy?
Yeah, I think if there's any other team here that we can trade back with, which still being within that range, not too far out, 100% is the Chargers. So the Chargers trade back hypothetically. They don't get Marvin Harrison Jr., they don't get Malik Neighbors, but they still get a top 3 wide receiver in this draft class. Hypothetically, obviously, this is going to be based on your decision. Potentially getting Rome Odunze, potentially getting a Brock Bowers. I would even throw Brock Bowers in there.
Hard to trade up for. It makes more sense to trade up for a wide receiver, but I hear you, yeah. I mean, maybe they do love Bowers. Like, maybe that is what they like. All right, well, I didn't want to only force my agenda without the backing of the community and our agenda, I guess. 57% of you have voted yes. Let's have the Falcons trade back. So, teams that make sense. And they're trading back, by the way, because the team is trying to get Rome Odunze before the Bears, before the Jets, maybe. Probably the Jets wouldn't take him. But teams that make sense, the Broncos, they don't have the capital, though. I don't think they'd do it. They don't even have a quarterback. No. The Saints, I don't think they're that desperate to move up. I did see in Dane Brugler's mock, he had the Colts trading up to grab Malik Neighbors. I don't personally see that happening, but I could be wrong. The Jags make a ton of sense. I think they're too far down the board. I don't think the Falcons would move down to 17. I think the Chargers is really what makes sense here.
Yeah, and I see a lot of people saying the Bills, and we've seen that multiple times in mock drafts. Just doesn't make sense to have a top 10 pick and go all the way to 28. I mean,
that's a bit too far back.
That's way too far. Unless you're getting players that you truly like. Like I don't know who the Bills have. Was that a defensive? Is that an offensive line? Is that a defensive? Yeah, once again, defensive player. But I think you only trade back that far for a player that's probably already proven than somebody that you're banking on. But yes, I do believe the Chargers is the ideal fit here.
Well, we're going to leave it up to the chat. I gave you 3 options: the Chargers, the Jags, and the Bills. I personally think the Bills are very unrealistic for a lot of reasons. There'd have to be a player in that deal, and I can't think of a player that makes sense to send in this package. Because, yeah, first-round picks are enticing, but how enticing are they from the Buffalo Bills? How enticing is a first-round pick from the Buffalo Bills that are very likely to be 25 to 30 every year? So are you really excited? Yeah. Like, it's different when you go out and get the Texans pick last year when we didn't think they'd be as good as they were, or you go out and you get the Browns pick after they traded for Watson. Like, I'm not sure a future first from Buffalo is that attractive from someone, you know?
I agree. I completely agree there.
So, with 61% of the vote, you guys are saying the Chargers are going to trade up, and I think that makes a lot of sense. 11 to 8 is actually not going to take that much, I don't think. I don't know exactly what the pick was. It looks like they have 2/3. Let's just say it was a third and then a pick swap later on as well. Guys, I don't know exactly what the trade is. It's pointless for us to really sit here say, well, this is exactly what the trade will be,
But
right?
just force the trade.
So we
Force
forced the
swap.
trade, and I think the pick here is pretty obvious. Yes, they want tackle, but there's a better player on the board, the best player available for them. And the position they have a real need is Rome Odunze. So with the 8th overall pick, the Chargers trade up for Washington wide receiver Rome Odunze. And things are getting funky, but I like it. I like it. Who knows what the NFL draft looks like? But I can tell you what it won't look like for sure, Badaki, is just no one trades. There will be so many trades.
Sure. 100%. I would say this. I know we're really going deep for fantasy and Rome Odunze. I do not count out them trading up for an offensive line. Just
agreed.
because of the Jets. The Jets are there, and if they do like an offensive tackle there, Fashanu, Falatu, I think his name is, like all those other guys that are top prospect offensive line here in this draft class, they can trade back instead of getting Joe Alt, getting capital, and then moving back up and still getting an offensive tackle that they like, and jumping the Jets, which would be pretty significant here in this
I agree.
Mock draft.
Very easily could have been offensive lineman there for sure.
Yeah.
So the Bears have the 9th overall pick. You know, we're probably not going to do it here, but I'll just say again, the Bears actually make a lot of sense to trade back to. They have 4 total picks in this draft. So we're not going to trade back right now, but all I'm saying is I wouldn't be surprised if their intention was to trade back at that pick. But who do we want to put on the poll here? Like, what makes sense? I guess Dallas Turner makes sense because he is a lot of people's edge one. I think Brock Bowers could make some sense. I'm not sure they go that way, but maybe they just go all out and building around Caleb. And honestly, why shouldn't you? It matters more if you know your quarterback can be successful than really anything else. I think Jared Verse and Liatu Latu are really. Would they go Jerzon Newton?
I don't think so. I think it would be Latu. I think the guys that you mentioned, it would be Latu.
Let's make it
Bowers.
easier. Then. We'll go edge. We'll go defensive line.
Be Latu.
We'll go Bowers.
Verse.
I think one of those options is what we'll do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you guys vote here what the Bears are going to do. Is it an edge rusher? Is it Brock Bowers? Is it a defensive lineman? Let us know what you guys think here. I think Bowers is unlikely, but man, I think it would make a lot of sense.
I think it's good. A couple good points, like that they said. Like they paid Cole Kmet. I don't know how much they paid him last year, if I'm not mistaken. But at the same time, and this is the same like head coaching regime and people like GM that paid him. That got that contract extension. So he's on the books until technically 2027. But I mean, for a tight end, if they want to cut him, it's only 4.8 dead cap, or whatever that looks like to trade him, and they get Brock Bowers. Though, doesn't matter.
If any franchise had a Cole Kmet on their team, are they really like we're out of the Brock Bowers sweepstakes, guys? We got Cole Kmet. Like, I'm not sure any team would feel that way.
Sure.
No disrespect to Cole Kmet. Maybe it is disrespect. Anyway, so you guys are voting in the chat here. Remember, if you haven't submitted your vote, the poll is in the chat. This is an interactive mock, and your vote counts just as much as anyone else's. But with a very heavy percentage of the vote,
like it's going to be edge here.
Edge rusher is the pick, and I would say Dallas Turner is the pick. I don't know if you have a different opinion here at edge. I think he's the first edge rusher off the board.
Yep, I think he'll be the first one there as well. I do believe it could be up with Latu, but I know a lot of people are concerned of those injuries. But I think somebody will take a chance here, potentially in the top 12. But yes, I'm happy with Dallas Turner.
Yeah. All right. So with the 9th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears draft Dallas Turner, edge rusher, Alabama. Put up some pretty impressive production this year in the SEC. Freak athlete. It makes a lot of sense. And now the Jets are on the clock. And it felt like for a long time, tackle was a lock here. because clearly
I mean,
their franchise quarterback, well, however long it will last, Aaron Rodgers, got injured in one of the first plays. But they did go out and sign Tyrone Smith, one of the best left tackles in the NFL. That opens up an entire new world for the Jets here at pick 10. Keep in mind, Bidaki, I'm not saying you do it here. At any moment, you can change the draft with whatever you want it to be. That's what I did there with the Vikings trading up. Not saying you do it here, but at any moment, you can jump in here. Say, I'm changing the draft. But let's ask what the people think. I really
I'll
think
let you know.
there's... What do you think the options are here?
I think it's offensive line. I don't think it's anything else, personally. I don't think getting Brock Bowers is a smart move here for this Jets organization. They signed Tyrone Smith, but Tyrone Smith, who has been dealing with injuries, is not the long-term answer. He is the veteran play here, someone that if you're going to go to the playoffs, you have your guy, but you need a future offensive tackle, and I don't think Tyrone Smith is that answer. So I think here, in my opinion, is a lock for offensive tackle here.
I'll throw a spanner into the works, though. No disrespect to Mike Williams. Your offensive weaponry is really not that much better than what it was. Mm-hmm. By the way, Mike Williams hasn't played a full season. I'm not sure ever. I'm not sure he's ever played all games. There might be 1 year he's played all games. So there is a possibility that Brock Bowers makes a ton of sense here. He does feel like a guy who can come in and produce straight away, but I do think offensive line makes a lot of sense. I don't personally think that they are completely out on like a Brian Thomas Jr. here. I'm not saying it will happen. I think the Mike Williams signing probably makes it very unlikely. But tackle makes sense. Anything's a possibility. Guys, keep in mind, this team drafted Will McDonald last year. Do you want to know who predicted Will McDonald to the Jets last year?
No one.
Nobody. Nobody thought that was going to happen.
Good, though. He turned out to be decent.
No, he hasn't. He only played like 50 snaps this year.
But when he was on the field, he was really effective. He
barely did anything this year. I think that they really regret that pick. I could be wrong.
Right.
But
because he got injured this year, didn't he? Anyways.
I can't remember. He didn't make an impact. I'll say that. Right. But yeah, you guys, make sure you're voting. There's over 100 of you guys, only 32 votes right now. I'm going to give you 30 more seconds. Every vote will matter depending on where the Jets go. And this is your chance to have your voice heard. Andrew says, Fuega. Is it Fuanga or Fuega? Fuaga. Is it Fuaga?
I don't know. But I've heard a lot of Fuaga.
A lot of people saying Fuaga. Tyrone is old. That's true. Yeah. Jacob says Bowers. They're in win now mode. Bowers can block too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I think it's really offensive line.
Harrison says Bowers, no doubt. Bob says Bowers.
This is another team that can trade back.
Yeah, another team that definitely could trade back. You just have to ask who's trading up. And for what?
And I mean, this is potentially defensive.
You know what? This could make a ton of sense here is like a Raiders trade up, actually.
For a defensive player?
No, for a quarterback. But we'll let that slide. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, I was gonna say what they're gonna jump the Broncos for Michael Penix.
Yeah, whatever quarterback they think should be the pick.
Sure.
But we're not living in that world. We're living in this world. And with 51% of the vote, people are saying offensive lineman. And let's just go based off the most commented player. That's Talise Fuaga.
Yeah.
I do think it could still be Olu or Troy Fatanu.
Yeah, either one. I don't care who it is. It's offensive lineman. That's how I feel.
But anyway, it is going to be offensive lineman here based off the votes. So with the 10th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Jets take tackle Talise Fuaga, Oregon State. So they are just going to do everything in their power to make sure Aaron Rodgers is upright. And in a way, I can definitely understand and respect that. So that makes a lot of sense. We got the Falcons on the board here. Falcons on the board, and it feels like it's definitely going to be defense. But
yeah,
what do you?
I'm
think?
there with you. I think it's defense. I know who it is. I don't want to sway the comments or sway the voters here. I think it's an edge rusher.
All right, let's put edge as an option. We'll put cornerback as an option, and I wouldn't rule out defensive lineman either.
Yep.
I think if they love Byron Murphy or Johnny Newton, I think they could go that way. I think that's the least likely of the options, but anyway, let's see what people say. You got a chance to vote in the chat right now. Edge, cornerback, or defensive lineman here for the Falcons. I do feel as if edge rusher is the likely move here, though.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree, and I have a name in mind. I think I see a lot of people spamming it. This is exactly who I thought the Falcons would probably trade back for, and Raheem Morris is going to get his big body guy.
Big body bins. So my question is why people are... I see a lot of people saying that name. I'm just curious why they are so heavily that name over Latu. Well, it's Verse. People are saying Verse.
Well,
why Verse over Latu? Is it the injury?
Latu's injuries are a concern for a lot of the NFL.
He was medically cleared, though.
I mean, we've seen people that were medically cleared and still fall.
We also saw Montez Sweat fall, and he shouldn't have fallen because of previous issues.
Oh, same thing wasn't last year with Tyrone Smith. He had an issue.
That was a while ago, but yeah, that is also a good point.
Not
too.
Tyrone. Tyree Reese, the guy the one that went to the Raiders last year. What's his name?
Oh,
Wilson. Tyree Wilson.
Tyree Wilson. I don't remember medical issues, but I could be wrong.
I know he was injured, and people thought like he was slow and overweight, and there was injury issues, and he fell. Well, he fell to the 8th pick, if I'm not mistaken, or something like along those lines.
So we'll give the chat the option between Verse or Latu. I don't know why everyone's so heavily on Verse over Latu. I think Latu's... I get the injury stuff, but I think Latu's a better player. I think he's a more technical edge rusher as well. Jared Verse wins with a lot of athleticism. He doesn't have the technicality that a Latu has.
And I think they're banking on, and I would bet that would be Verse over Latu, because I guess they don't want to... Look, every team has their own like pathway of medicals, and if that Atlanta Falcons say, we believe there could be problems, and here's a percentage, here's a report on Latu, we believe he's going to be injured this many times throughout his career, and Jared Verse has a lower percentage, I think they will go Jared Verse, based off of how they know he can perform and him potentially being healthy.
What we know is that there absolutely is a medical team for each team, and they have a grade, and there are certain grades that means that player's off your board. Who knows? Maybe for the Falcons, that means, sorry, Latu's off our board, even though we love him. I think he's the better edge rusher. If both stay healthy, I put all the money I have on Latu being the better edge rusher. But I'm not very good at scouting edge rushers anyway, so I wouldn't trust my opinion.
And I think of Raheem Mostert and what he had at the Rams, and I'm not comparing Verse. Raheem Morris, sorry. And what he had
that boy's drafting a running back right now, Trey Benson.
Trey Benson. Brian Thomas. Anyways. Yes.
Yeah.
Verse is somebody that I see. What's going on here?
Okay, so it looks like with 55% of the vote, the pick is in. With the 11th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Falcons select Jared Verse, and they make a huge mistake, massive mistake. They're going to regret this for a decade, maybe. I'm joking. I'm just joking. Anybody watch I Think You Should Leave? Oh, that looks good right there. I wish I ordered that. I'm going to eat that. I'm joking. I'm just joking. You seen that or no?
No, I haven't.
You haven't watched I Think You Should Leave?
No, honestly, let me see. I Think You Should Leave.
Oh my goodness.
I have not.
That is absolutely crazy talk.
What's
Dude,
going on? Why does this keep?
I don't care what you do with the rest of your week. Actually, I do, because we got a lot of draft content to make. But you need to watch. I think you should leave ASAP. They're only like 16 minutes per episode, and they're hilarious.
Oh, really?
Give me that.
Okay. I mean, I'll definitely try.
Oh my gosh.
I have to fix my light. Give me a second. It keeps going in and out.
Do your thing. The Broncos are on the clock here, and you guys are gonna help me come up with the pick here. There is. I'll be honest. I don't want to trade back too much, guys, but Denver feels like a prime trade back. So that is going to be my first question to you. Okay, does Denver trade back? Just simple yes or no. Yes, no. There is no wrong or right answer here. But I'll be honest, I really think this is a trade back scenario here. Could be wrong. Hey, maybe they're in love with one of these defensive players. Maybe Latu's their guy, and they're just going to stick and pick. But if this team, who has no second-round pick, maybe there's a quarterback that they like, if they decide to trade back, it could just make a ton of sense. But I'll leave it in your hands. Again, Denver have no second-round pick. So I'll be honest. If they stick, I feel like it's a quarterback. And I guess they could be letting the Raiders draft a quarterback, so maybe they do stay. But I think a trade back would make a ton of sense if there's multiple quarterbacks that they like. If they love a Bo Nix or a Michael Penix and they're happy with whoever falls to them, I really think it's a possibility. But I'm going to let you guys make that decision. And it looks like the majority of people are saying no. What do you think?
Sorry, no for a trade back. Yeah, I don't think it's a trade back. I think Sean Payne, sticks and picks here. Now, if he does trade back, it has to be something incredible where he maybe gets into the second round of this mock. I think, or in this draft. Like if he trades back with the Saints or the Colts, hypothetically, or even like the teams in the 18th, like top 18 here. So from all the way down to the Bengals, and they get their second round pick, that can change things. I think he'll be more interested in something like that. Okay. But I would say this: Sean Payne is probably going to pick somebody and be like, "Who? Why? I'll just help your team now."
Jared That's says, get weapons for Zach Wilson.
Shout out to Zach Wilson. My shares are up because if this happens, that means he ain't getting the quarterback. Anyways.
Stop it. Okay, well, a vast majority of you guys disagree with me. 64% say no, they're not trading back. And I guess the common thing here is people say that Sean Payton doesn't trade back. Yeah, okay. So that means he never will? I don't know. I don't really understand. But so 65% of people saying they're sticking and picking. So you guys, now we're going to have to decide. I think we're going to have to play this a certain way because I'm not going to put like the two quarterbacks in there. I'm just going to put quarterback because I think it will dilute the vote too much. So is it a quarterback? I think edge rusher makes sense here. I don't see them going Bowers. What about you?
I don't see him going Bowers either. But the thing is, it doesn't make sense now. It'll probably make sense later. Like that's like the Giants. Like, oh, why are you taking Malik Neighbors? You got no quarterback. Like you take Bowers because he's the best player available. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is because you build for the future.
I almost could see them going Brian over Brock. Is that crazy to say? Well, why don't we do this?
What's going on?
Let's put quarterback as an option, edge as an option. I mean, I don't see them going offensive lineman. Okay, yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll put quarterback, edge, Brian Thomas Jr. and Brock Bowers. Vote in the chat right now. Get your votes in. Let us know what you guys think they're going to do.
Get your votes in.
Funnily enough, if it's not quarterback, I think you're all silly for not trading back. I think you are all silly season for not trading back if you're not giving them a quarterback here. Absolutely silly season.
Silly season.
So let's see.
I mean, actually, the more I think about it, and I got to fix my light after this again. I don't know what's going on. The more I think about it, the more...
The more I hear it, the less I like it.
I don't see Michael Penix or Bo Nix going in the first.
So then I ask you the question of, are the Broncos sticking with Jarrett Stidham then? Because they don't have a pick until round 3 if they're not trading back.
They just traded for Zach Wilson, and that's not exciting, but you have depth.
There is no way you can sit here and say they just traded for Zach Wilson, so they're good.
I'm not saying that good. I'm just saying that like
as in like they're not going to address a position.
If he doesn't like the quarterback, he's not gonna. You're not gonna pull the trigger on the quarterback just because. Like just because I have the top 12 pick and I don't have a quarterback and I don't love Bo Nix doesn't mean I'm gonna reach on Bo Nix or trade back on for Bo Nix.
Yeah, fair enough. Well,
and the same thing with that's not just for Bo Nix, for Michael Penix. That could be for any quarterback.
Here's right? Why I wanted to trade back, because guess what? Bo Nix, if we traded back with the Bengals or with the Jags and they went up and got a wide receiver, would have made a lot more sense in the middle of the first round instead of at pick 12. You would have got a lot more value. But all of you wanted to sit here, okay? So this is your fault, not mine, all right? This is on you.
It's their mock. It's the community's mock.
I'm getting angry at people.
You're getting angry because it's not going the way you want it to go.
So, look, not my decision here, but with 53% of the vote, it's quarterback. So quarterback is the pick. We keep hearing that Penix is a lock for round 1, that Nix could go round 1. So who is the quarterback here? Is it Bo Nix? Is it Michael? Is it Penix Jr.? And remember, if you don't want them to take a quarterback, it's not my fault. It's your fault. And when I say you, I say all of you. All of you who voted for them not to trade back, it's your fault. All right? So just remember, when your head hits that pillow tonight, my hands are clean. My hands are clean here. Trevor says, I'm having second thoughts. Oh, my goodness. Do me a favor, guys, as we are getting into the middle of this round, hit that like button. We are just 25 likes away from our goal, which is 100. Hit that like button. Help us get to 100. We appreciate y'all big time. Bob says, only because they are scared the Raiders will grab the guy they like better. Okay, that makes sense. All right, I'm going to give you guys 10 more seconds to vote here. So 64% are settled on a name. Jared says, I can't believe I had to click Nix here. Johnny Not Bravo says, I'm a diehard Broncos fan. I want us to trade back. See, we're on the same page. We're thinking. Saxer says, actually, now that I think about it, Peyton would be all over Bowers here. Hey, it makes sense. You know, I mean, Jimmy Graham in the past, so I can see it. But all right, with 55% of the vote, the pick is in. Some people are going to hate this. But with the 12th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Bo Nix, quarterback, Oregon. Here's what I will say. Do I think Bo Nix or Michael Penix should be drafted in the top 12 of the NFL Draft? No. I don't. I don't think so. Do I like Bo Nix? Yes. I really, really like Bo Nix. I think he is extremely underrated. I think people are way too harsh on him. And they give him crap for things that they haven't in previous prospects. Well, he's old. Of course he dominated. He was old. Well, everyone loved Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was old coming in too, right? Well, he was bad at Auburn. Okay, yeah. So was Jaden Daniels at Arizona State. All right? I mean, let's not move the goalposts for different prospects. Well, the offense was bad. Well, he ran it. The offense was simple. It was dink and dump. Well, he ran it to perfection. And if you look at his accuracy down the field, throws of over 10 yards, 20 yards, 30 yards, he's extremely accurate even down the field. So I get it. But one thing I will say before I pass it to you, Badaki, is I have said this since December, and I still feel the same way. The best pre-snap quarterback in the draft is Bo Nix. And when I say pre-snap, I mean, okay, what is the defense about to throw at me? How can I counter that? What move should I make? Oregon would let this guy run the offense on his own. They would literally let this guy run the offense on his own. If he would see something he didn't like, he's switching it up. What does that sound like to anybody else? That sounds like, and I'm not saying he'll be this good, that sounds like Drew Brees and Sean Payton to me, all right? That's what that sounds like to me. Best pre-snap quarterback in the draft. Now, you could run with that and say, Zach just said he's going to be as good as Drew Brees. No, I didn't say anything near that. I think he could be a Brock Purdy, though. I think Brock Purdy is within the realm of outcome. How do you feel about this pick, though? I'm gonna piss. I'll be right back.
Sure. I mean, when I went to go fix my lie, I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't think we were going quarterback. I know it sounds crazy, but like if he doesn't trade back here, if there's not somebody that he doesn't like, I personally don't think the Broncos is going to be taking a quarterback here. I think they would just go a different route and maybe get like a Spencer Rattler or somebody else in the second, right? Like, yeah, they can't even get a second, right? Because they don't have a second round pick, so they'll go for a quarterback in the third. That's how I feel, and I love Bo Nix. I love Bo Nix. Like Zach was kind of talking about, there's a lot of I had Bo Nix ahead of JJ McCarthy still in my rankings. That's how much I liked him. So I think things can definitely change here. But put your votes in here with the Raiders. 13 picked here. Where can the Raiders go? There's a lot of needs here. I mean, there's a lot of also talks. I throw a couple names out there. Michael Penix, we've seen get talked to the Raiders. I know Latu. I don't know how you say his name. He's still out there. I know Cooper DeJean, Quincy Mitchell is there as well. Brian Murphy. So many different ways we can go here, and you have all these different options. Look, is it crazy if we see a wide receiver go to this landing spot too? I mean, they just signed, what's his name? Jacoby Myers, Devontae Adams over there for the Raiders. Let us know.
So yeah, polls in the chat. Quarterback, offensive line, cornerback, defensive line. I do think the Raiders are less desperate for a quarterback than the Broncos because they have Gardner Minshew, they have Aiden O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell won some games for them last year. So I actually think they're way less desperate, than the Broncos would be. That's again why I think the Broncos should have traded back, but that's neither here nor there. A lot of people saying cornerback, and I kind of agree with them. Do you have a consensus quarterback one? Or like your cornerback one? Who do you think I know who it is for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it'd probably be Cooper DeJean here.
Really? Okay.
I know a lot of people like Kool-Aid. A lot of people like Arnold, but I like Cooper and what he can do.
Okay. Cooper wouldn't be in my top two, so let's poll then.
Sure, that's fine. I'm happy either way.
I want to hear what the people think. For me, the pick would have been Quinyon Mitchell. I think he stands out as the number one here. But let's see what the people think. I'll give you the option of Quinyon Mitchell. You said Cooper DeJean. I think Terrion Arnold would go ahead of Kool-Aid. I could be wrong.
Okay, Kool-Aid, okay.
And then I guess we'll give them Kool-Aid as well. But I think Quinyon's going to be the CB1. At the end of the day, you got a guy who, dominated his competition, wasn't in the best conference, but went to the Senior Bowl, was the best player at the Senior Bowl, tested off the charts. I think there's nothing not to love with this guy. Not to the same degree as Sauce Gardner, not the same prospect, but I think a similar pathway as far as his rise to being the cornerback one in the class.
Yeah.
But
see what the community thinks here.
You guys can now vote in the chat here. So let's see. Andrew is almost angry at every pick we make, by the way. Every pick, he's upset. So let's see what people think. Someone let Shane Gillis know we have a white corner.
It's been a minute since we had a successful white corner.
Cooper's nice, man. Cooper is nice.
Yeah.
Andrew says you're ignoring all these elite cornerbacks.
Give me the option.
I don't really know any. So, like, we are only at pick 13. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know anyone in the draft community who has a cornerback going top 10. Maybe the Falcons? But come on, brother.
I'm
not doing something crazy here.
It feels like did
that poll not go through?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is it not being able? Are you guys voting out of curiosity? Because I'm seeing 0 votes, and it's been up for a minute. Normally, you get instant votes.
Yeah, I don't think that went through. Oh, it had 44 votes. There it goes. So it looks like with 52% of the vote, Andrew's going to absolutely hate it. But Quinyon Mitchell is the pick.
Voted. Okay.
Quinyon comes off the board, and now we are with the New Orleans Saints. And we'll start to go a little quicker as we get further into the draft. Things start to kind of form as we go. Who do you think is an option here at the 14th pick for the Saints?
Yeah, offensive lineman, no question. I know Ryan Ramsnick is dealing with those injuries. I'm not sure if he's even going to play football again. Obviously, this team also needs wide receiver and or tight end, which I would hate for the people that we love, like Brock Bowers, Brian Thomas Jr. The list goes on there.
Yeah.
I think those are the options there for me. But offensive line, wide receiver, or tight end.
A lot of people saying offensive lineman, so I decided let's just, instead of agreeing on offensive lineman, because there's so many people who have different opinion, we'll just say offensive lineman here and see what people think between OL, tight end, wide receiver. And it looks like it is an overwhelming vote towards offensive lineman. So let's not pretend that you and I have scouted these offensive linemen. It's only been from what we've heard. I know a lot of people love Troy Fautanu. I think Olu probably makes the most sense here. Fashanu, yeah. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, this is what I've been hearing. Olu Fashanu could even go ahead of someone like the guy that we took to the Jets. I forgot, it's hard to say his name. But yes, I think it's either one of these two. These Fuaga, yeah.
Okay, so
one of these two.
Let's go ahead and make it Olu Fashanu. I'm sure that will upset some people who are smarter than us. But we'll go Olu there. Make it a tackle that you like, all right? Pick 15, we've now got the Colts. And we've seen Bowers go here a lot. I don't know if that will happen or not. You know what's funny, Badaki, is you and I have been saying all offseason, I think Brock Bowers is going to fall down the board. I don't think he's a top 10 pick. The amount of people who are like, are you crazy? Do you know how generational he is? Do you know X, Y, and Z? And now we're sitting here giving all these people the opportunity to draft him, and they keep passing up on him. It's tough to find a spot where someone's like, let me spend a premium pick on a tight end. Is that the Colts? I don't know. I guess we can decide that together. So Bowers would make sense. What else? I think cornerback makes more sense than Bowers, but I'm going to let y'all decide that. Bowers, a cornerback. DeJean feels like a Colt for sure.
I think it's going to be an offensive player.
Okay.
I think it's going to be an offensive weapon. And we're not going to like it, whether that's Brock Bowers or Brian Thomas Jr., because we already know how we feel about Anthony Richardson and him supporting some fantasy assets. I'm not a huge fan of Brock Bowers and or Brian Thomas Jr. going here, but let's see what happens. Let's see what the community thinks.
Yes, this is a tight vote here. Between Bowers and a cornerback right now, it's a tight vote. So if you have a strong opinion on one way or the other, now's the time to vote for either Bowers or a cornerback because it is really tight. But I don't know. I guess they could go Bowers. I don't know, dude. I think Bowers falls outside the top 12 pretty easily. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no question. I mean, I think it's a real possibility that Bowers could potentially go to the Bengals, like we've been kind of talking about early in the offseason.
Bowers to the Bengals would break Dynasty.
1,000%. 1,000%.
I wouldn't be surprised if he fell to 18.
No, I wouldn't. And I think it's a perfect fit.
But I wouldn't be surprised. I think I would be surprised if someone traded up for him, but I could see him falling. I think he just has a really wide range of outcomes. That's what I'd say. But all right. The vote is still super close, but with 46% of the vote, the Colts are going to grab a cornerback. Is there one here that stands out to you? I know there's a guy here that he sounds like a Colt. He looks like a Colt. He feels like a Colt.
Looks like, sounds like it, feels like it.
Walks like a duck, sounds like a duck. There's actually two names. Let's put this to the chat. There's two names that make a lot of sense to me.
Go for it.
I think it's either DeJean or I think it's Arnold. Do you have a different name you want to throw in there though?
No, I said Cooper last time, so I'll go with Cooper this time.
All right, well, let's see what the chat thinks here between Cooper DeJean and Terrion Arnold. Remember, they just brought back Kenny Moore. Is DeJean more of a nickel, or is he a true outside? I think he has a size to play outside.
I think he has a size to be outside, but I think from what I've been reading is that he can play a little bit of both.
He's 6'1", 207, so he certainly could play outside.
Yeah.
Terrion's obviously a bigger dude too. Both of these guys can play outside.
Getting a little bit more creative there.
All right, so with 57% of the vote,
It's like it's Arnold.
it is Arnold. So with the 15th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Colts grabbed Terrion Arnold, and they improve in a position that they desperately need to. I would say they have a bigger need at corner than wide receiver, even though PFF disagrees.
Yep.
Seahawks are on the clock.
Oh man, another wide receiver. Take him.
Don't do it.
Gosh, that'll be terrible.
Let's give the people some option. And remember, Badaki, you still have a chance to make this draft crazy at any moment that you want, that you see fit. But
I'm letting it fall.
with the 16th pick,
It's falling the right way. I want.
Select what makes sense. I don't want to do Bowers. I don't think it makes any sense. I feel like their quarterback room is solid. I don't think they need DB.
Well, the thing is, that's why I think it could be Bowers. If he's here, they just have weapons across the board. We didn't think, well, not that we didn't think, but we didn't think they would take Kenneth Walker, or Zach Charbonnet. Obviously, it's a different position, but like, you have Noah Fant, who barely stays healthy. All those other tight ends was walked away. You have quarterback as well, Michael Penix, that's still available here with Geno Smith.
But someone got really angry at me though for suggesting that they could even think about quarterback. So I think it's either edge, offensive lineman, DB, or a trade back. Let's give those options. I want to see what you guys think. I don't know. Maybe Bowers is a possibility, but I would honestly hate myself if I allowed that to happen in a mock draft. I couldn't forgive myself.
I want it to happen now.
No.
I want it to happen so we can be mentally prepared. You have to be prepared for somebody to go to a terrible spot that's going to ruin other fantasy players that you love. That's going to happen this year, and you know it. You just don't know who it is and how you're going to feel. It's just, you have to prepare yourself.
Yeah.
Disconnect. Just disconnect. Right here, right now. Let's do it. Let's do it together.
You go ahead. You disconnect.
I'm ready for the chaos. He doesn't want to disconnect.
Well, the vote is very tight. I will say if you haven't voted yet, vote, because this is going to be tight to the end. The battle between a trade back, OL, and edge is heating up. If we were to go offensive lineman, I think Troy Fatano just makes way too much sense. He just makes way too much sense there. If we were to go edge, I could be wrong, but I think Latu is a pick.
Yeah.
And if we were to trade back,
Latu looks like a Seahawk too, you know?
If we were to trade back, I think the Bills might start to be in play here. It's still far off, but maybe they're in play there.
You said the Bills or the Bengals?
Bills. For Brian Thomas Jr., I think they'd have to jump Jacksonville.
That's just too far back for the Seahawks, though. Don't you think?
Not if you get a first-round pick next year.
Yeah, I guess.
So with 37% of the vote, and it's very close, you guys decided that the Seahawks are going to take an edge rusher. I'm going to make an executive decision here. Let me know if I'm wrong in the chat. But with the 16th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Seahawks select Latu, edge rusher out of UCLA. I think he is potentially the best edge rusher in the class. I get the issues, or the concerns rather, with his injury history. But if all these guys stay healthy, I think he's going to be the best edge rusher in the class. Maybe Dallas Turner. Could be wrong. But let's recap the first 16 picks. Caleb is a Bear. Jaden is a Commander. Drake is a Patriot. Marvin goes to the Cardinals. Then the Vikings trade up to take JJ ahead of the Giants. Malik Neighbors goes to New York. Joe Alt goes to Tennessee. The Chargers trade back up. They repeat what the Cardinals did last year for Rome Odunze. And
Sure.
they jump the Bears. The Bears get Dallas Turner. The Jets get Talise Fuaga. The Falcons get an edge rusher in Jared Verse. The Broncos should have traded back, but this is your guys' fault, okay? This is your guys' fault. They get Bo Nix. I love Bo Nix. Love the fit. Quinyon Mitchell, who is going to bust, apparently, because he's a Raider. I'm kidding, guys. Olu Fashanu, or Fashanu, I think is actually how you say it, goes to the Saints. Terrion Arnold to the Colts. Latu to the Seahawks. And now the Jags are on the clock. Lots of options here.
Lots of options.
Could the Jags consider Bowers? I know they got
think
Ingram. Would they not be open to running 2 sets?
I don't think so.
Well, let's
Like
put wide receiver as a clear option.
If they want Brian Thomas, then why not just trade back?
Who?
Like, the Jags.
Well, I'm suggesting maybe they want Brock Bowers.
Right. But I'm saying, like, if they don't want Brock Bowers if they were thinking, okay, well, we can't take Brock Bowers because we have Evan Ingram, we're happy with him, like Brian Thomas Jr., but we'd rather trade back. That's how I was thinking.
Sure. Well, is that the executive decision you want to make here? Or you want to let this play
No,
out?
because I don't think it's a natural pivot to somebody trading back here at the moment.
Sure. Yeah, you
because
can't
the next
trade
I
back
agree.
all the way to 28 here with the Jags and their
can't.
needs.
No, not at all. Unless like you just do a swap with the Bengals, which we've seen last year. Like Giants did the swap last year with the Jags.
Yeah.
To get Deontay Banks, so it's not out of the question there.
Okay, well, the overwhelming consensus here is wide receiver. If I had to guess, I think it would be defensive back here. I think they would take DeJean. Just my personal opinion. I think the fall off at cornerback is much deeper than the fall off at wide receiver in round 2.
Yeah.
Again, I could be wrong, but if I had to make a guess, I think they'd take cornerback here. You're not... Yeah, with DeJean on the board, look, I could be wrong. But it's not only our mock. It is the people's mock. And with 61% of the vote, it's a wide receiver, and I think I think there is a debate here. So we know it's wide receiver. But which wide receiver?
And I think, yeah. Andrew. Brian Thomas Jr.
Andrew says
you.
Jags have massive needs. They're atrocious at cornerback. Yeah. But look, not our pick here. You're good.
Sorry, I'm heated today. Yeah.
Chase says, can we run back another draft after this one? Just Andrew's picks.
Let's just do Brian Thomas Jr. and not waste any more time there.
Is it overwhelming, Brian? Okay.
Yeah, no question.
So
and like, should we even put it to a vote for the Bengals here with Brock Bowers as well?
No, let's grab Brock. Let's grab Brock. So the Jags get Brian Thomas Jr. and with the 18th pick, finally the slide stops. Brock Bowers goes to the Bengals. I think we can all agree that if Bowers is there, the Bengals would be licking their chops to grab him. And I think the Rams make a lot of sense in a certain direction too, but I'm gonna let the people vote on that.
Mm-hmm. I have a couple people in mind as well, but yeah.
Okay, who do you think here? Let's start putting some names out there.
I think it's offensive line or Cooper DeJean.
Okay.
I think Troy. I can't say his name, but Troy Cooper DeJean. That's kind of where I'm currently leaning here.
Okay,
for me.
I actually would lean defensive lineman here. I think the first interior defensive lineman comes off the board. So we'll put those three
Okay.
options up. And hey, I'm not going to put wide receiver because it wouldn't be voted on, but I wouldn't be shocked if they grabbed the wide receiver there. But Badaki leans cornerback. I lean defensive lineman here. But let's see what you guys think, because it is ultimately you guys vote with us. With them losing,
Murphy.
with them losing
Aaron
Donald, I had the same thought there of them potentially going defensive lineman here. Either Worthy, or either Newton or Murphy. Well, it looks like it's a pretty overwhelming vote here.
Yeah. Let's do Brian Murphy here.
I would say most people have Newton one.
Okay, whichever one. I'm happy.
We'll go Johnny Newton here for the Rams, but it is close. There might be some who have Byron at 1, 2. Steelers are on the clock. What are you thinking here? Because there's a couple different directions I think we can go.
I mean, this is a lot of different directions.
Yeah.
Wide receiver. We've seen Brian Thomas mock here, even though he's already off the board, but that could be Adonai Mitchell now. That can also be an offensive lineman. In Troy, that can also be Cooper DeJean. So those are my three.
Yeah.
Wide receiver, cornerback, or tackle.
So you said wide receiver, cornerback,
Or
offensive
tackle.
lineman. I also would like to throw in there, like, center. I think Jackson Powers Johnson is also in serious consideration here.
Sure.
So I won't split the vote on OL. I'll just say including center.
I just know, like, I think they say it all the time, like, it's, you don't take a center in the first round. Now, I could be wrong. But that's like,
Yeah.
for them to go there and then maybe getting a center later on. But yeah, I mean, Jackson Powers is
Jackson
definitely
Powers Johnson is probably
way.
not available in the second round when you make your pick, to be honest. And I know
Yeah,
he's
no
a center,
question.
but we saw the Ravens draft center Tyler Linderbaum in 2022. You can make an argument that
Sure.
Jackson Powers Johnson is just as good as a prospect, if not better.
No, I agree. I think in this pick, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but Tyler Linderbaum was like 27th, 28th pick. So like getting him there is great,
He
but
was
being in the middle.
25th, I think.
Okay. Either way, I'm genuinely really happy. I think they can take center here because I think that's where I was going. I was thinking the Eagles can take a center with Jackson Powers, and that's something that somebody they would potentially even trade up to get because of how big that gap is, or that loss is with Jason Kelsey.
I think they already drafted his replacement. I could be wrong, though.
They could.
Jackson Powers Johnson. Let's man, Troy Fatanu. We didn't put him in Seattle, did we? There's so many tackles here. I mean, let's just say Jackson Powers Johnson. J.C. Latham, I guess we can say, and Amarius Mims. I don't think Mims goes this early.
It's no injury.
Okay. Yeah, Cam Jurgens. That's the guy they drafted to replace.
Yeah, Kelsey.
But yeah, let us know what you guys think. You can vote in the chat right now between Jackson Powers Johnson, Troy Fatanu, J.C. Latham, Amarius Mims. So many different ways you could go there. So if you're making the pick, what are you doing here, Badaki, at offensive lineman? What are you gonna do?
Well, I'll probably do Troy. But I mean,
Fatanu.
you guys know more than me on the offensive lineman.
Yeah. No,
So I'm honestly happy either way.
Imagine we let Brock Bowers fall to the Dolphins. Or even the Chargers at pick 23.
He's going to go to a place that we're not expecting.
Could the Chargers double trade up? Could they have double traded up there with the Jags? That could be crazy. Okay, so what is the vote looking like here? It's so tight. You still have your executive decision to make at some point, by the way.
I'm waiting here.
You have an idea in mind?
I have a couple.
Okay.
So let's see what really happens here.
All right. Well,
Oh,
I'm gonna give it 30 more seconds because it really is so close, guys. The poll is in the chat. It is so tight. And I didn't even say that's what she said. Except I did.
You did.
But why would she say that?
It's a tight one. Here we go.
All right.
It's not moving here.
Counting down in 3, 2,
I think it's Powers.
1.
It's Powers.
So with the 20th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Steelers select Jackson Powers Johnson, center, Oregon. This guy can move at guard as well. He's got a ton of versatility. This is truly an elite center prospect. It really, really is. So I know centers typically don't go that high, but you typically don't have a Jackson Powers Johnson in a class either, and it's a huge need for this team.
Yeah.
All right, at pick 21, we've got the Miami Dolphins. What are you thinking here? What should we start whipping up?
Offensive line. I'm still on Troy here.
Okay.
They
do
lost
need
a couple
some help,
people
don't they?
here. Yeah, they do need. They lost a couple people this year. If I'm not, I forgot his name. Is it what? No, something. Anyways, Troy is definitely. Do you get what you know who I'm talking about, right? He went to the Panthers, didn't he?
Yes, Robert Hunt.
Yes, with the Panthers now.
I'd say offensive lineman, defensive lineman, or DB could make sense here. They're getting pretty old at defensive back.
Yeah.
But they did lose Wilkins. Jared makes a very good point. Adam says the Bucks can move up and grab Byron.
That's what I was thinking. I just don't think it's too. I think it's too far up. I think that was my move.
Okay.
That's my move. But I think if that is the move that's going to happen, it might happen now. Because if that's the case, they have to jump the Eagles to get him.
Sure.
Yeah, my expectation is that the Eagles will take him.
Sure. I can see it. I can see it calling in the air. Okay, so an overwhelming vote, 56% offensive lineman, and I think we're going to make an executive decision here based off the last vote.
Troy.
It's going to be Troy Fautanu landing in Miami. They need some drastic help on their offensive line. I think Latham could very easily been the pick. I actually think they would consider Marius Mims too. And can I just say I think the Eagles pick makes way too much sense here. Can I make the pick?
Yeah, go for it.
With the 22nd pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Eagles select Cooper DeJean, defensive back. They are barren. They need so much help with their DB, so I think that makes way too much sense. And we've got the Chargers on the clock here. And what do you know? It makes, again, too much sense. I don't want to keep messing up the draft. I think this just makes way too much sense. And we are going to grab either Latham or Mims. What do you think?
Latham or Mims on the offensive line. Yeah, I'm happy with this as well.
A lot of people saying Latham, so let's go J.C. Latham here for the Chargers. So they actually end up with Roma Dunze, and they still get a very good tackle prospect in J.C. Latham. I'm sure Andrew's going to have a problem with it, though, so unfortunately it won't be valid. But on to the next pick. The Cowboys on the clock. What are you thinking here?
I think this is a perfect opportunity for them to trade back.
Trade back? Okay.
But once again, I'm really keen on to know what the community is. But I'm happy for the Bucks to go because I think Byron Murphy just seems like a Bucks player. But people are saying no.
No, this
is interesting.
At any moment you can make an executive decision. It doesn't matter if anyone likes it.
100%. But like, I'm happy to listen. I'm happy to see what people are saying.
So what are you thinking here? What are some options? Let's start putting it out into the world then as I
Yeah, so it's a trade back. It's offensive tackle because they need offensive line. I don't think it's running back or wide receiver. I think it's either going offensive tackle or defensive.
Okay, trade back, offensive tackle, or I'm not sure. What else did you say?
Well, that's it. That was the three: trade back, offensive tackle, defensive end, or defensive
DB?
interior.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
defensive line. Okay, those are the three options there.
I don't think they'll go wide receiver here.
Yeah, with it being such a deep class, I think they could opt. Which is crazy because everyone keeps saying Ladd's going in the first. Xavier Worthy's going in the first. People keep saying Ricky now could go in the first. Adonai in the first. And we're looking at this draft board and we're like, okay. Where though? Are we sure? Okay, so it looks like offensive tackle is going to be the move here. We'll go ahead and grab Amarius Mims off the board. And now we've got the Packers. So we're going to grab wide receiver for them. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. The
thing is that they need offensive linemen too. They just lost a couple there.
I think maybe Barton is the last one you could consider here. Some people love Guyton and Jordan Morgan. But let's put the option here in the chat for the people. So what are we thinking here? What are the options?
Oh gosh, I don't even know for the Packers, man.
Yeah.
I think maybe we should make a trade back for the Packers.
Trade back for the Pack?
Yeah.
Who's trading up though, and why do they trade up?
Probably the Bills for a wide receiver. Do they have to trade? Do they have to trade all the way up for the wide receiver here to let somebody fall?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Who takes one ahead of them? Cardinals just got Marvin. I don't know. Are the Bucks a threat?
Maybe they're not necessarily. The Bucks could be a threat, or maybe they're not worried about the Bucks being a threat. They're worried about the team behind them, like the Chiefs, to move up.
Okay. Is this your executive decision?
Sure, let's do it. Why not?
Okay, so you're trading up with the Bills, is that right?
We can either trade up with the Bills or we can trade up with your Chiefs. How about we let the community choose which one they want? Is the Bills or Chiefs that they want to trade up for here at 25?
I'm going to go ahead and advocate as a Chiefs guy that it's not us.
I don't think the Lions. I don't think the Ravens. I think it's probably Bills here for me.
I think the Chiefs are very comfortable with their ability to stick and pick. They've done so well in the last couple of years at knocking it out of the park with those picks. Bills do have a history of trading up. Remember last draft, traded up for Dalton Kincaid. I don't hate a trade up. I just don't think there's a team that they would need to trade up in front of. But maybe the Panthers. Maybe the Panthers are sitting there and thinking, "Ooh, Adonai." I don't know.
I don't know either. Let's see the Bills.
Trevor says, as a Chiefs guy, I love being in the Bills' head. They stick and pick Mitchell, and he ends up being a bust. That's funny. All right, so the Bills. The Bills are the move. What is the compensation? We don't know.
We know. Just swap the pick, force it.
I don't know.
Let's have fun here.
No idea, guys. Doesn't matter. But the Bills move up, and you're making the executive decision. Who are they taking here?
For me, it'd be Adonai Mitchell. That's what I think they would take here.
With the 25th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver, Texas. And now the Bucks are on the clock. And I have no idea what the Bucks would do.
I think it's Murphy.
You think it's Murphy?
It's either Murphy or Kool-Aid. Maybe not Kool-Aid, but I think it'd be Murphy.
The Bucks, we said Byron Murphy is an option. I think let's just put cornerback because I think there's a lot of different cornerbacks that could go there. I don't think wide receiver makes sense. There's not really an offensive lineman that I could see here, but I could.
This is gonna be a big old chop. It's gonna be a chop. Chop seems like a buck too.
Yeah, Chop I could imagine as a buck. I'm not sure he goes round 1, but maybe he does. Let's just put Chop there as well. I really don't know.
Yeah.
All right, 4 options up there. Byron Murphy, a cornerback, Graham Barton, or Chop Robinson. Offensive line can make sense. Certainly interior defense can make sense. Cornerback, you can never have too many cornerbacks. That's a premium position. And maybe we'll use this mock draft for something. I'm not sure. Maybe not. I don't know.
We'll see what happens here.
I don't know.
Let's see what it looks like is Murphy here.
All right, with a large portion of the votes, with the 26th pick, the Bucs select Byron Murphy, Texas. Is he a 3-down player? I don't know.
We'll find out.
That's for the Bucs to now find out.
We'll find out soon.
All right, the Cardinals are on the clock, and I think they would be ecstatic with how it's fallen, because I really think Graham Barton, who can move into guard for them, Nate Wiggins, Kool-Aid, one of those guys can make a ton of sense for them. I don't think they go Chop, but I really think they got a lot of options here.
Yeah. I don't know much about... We get to these guys here like Barton, I don't know much about. I know Wiggins, seen him a little bit. I've seen Kool-Aid, but Barton and the tackles is kind of where I get lost. I haven't seen personally or heard too much of him.
Let's go. Let's give them the option of offensive tackle or cornerback. I really think that's the pick. I don't think they double up on wide receiver, and I think they got some really good options here between OL and DB. So let's see what the people say. I really like Nate Wiggins, man. I really like him. A little bit undersized, I guess. Weight-wise, could put on some pounds. But he is a very good athlete. And, man, I just think he was really dominant this year. Kool-Aid didn't live up to the hype before the year. Doesn't mean he won't in the NFL draft. Very good player. Well respected by all of his coaches, all of his teammates. But the vast majority are saying cornerback. So let's
do that then.
Let's go just with Kool-Aid. We're going to give him Kool-Aid. Now the Packers are back up, and I think Graham Barton just makes too much sense. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, let's do that.
He can move across their line. And now the Lions are up. I don't know that they don't. Okay, let me give people the option. Detroit's pick here. I mean, I could see them going Nate Wiggins.
I can see them going that as well.
I could see them going Chop Robinson. Lions are going running back, Chase says. They went linebacker last year. I don't think that's not really a need for them anymore. They really are a wild card, aren't they?
I mean, this is where a team can trade up. Like,
yeah.
Can they get,
Let's do a
Panthers trade up here?
Let's do a trade up. I like that, actually. We're going to trade back with the Panthers. I like that. Yeah, I'm just looking at this now. I like that. I like that move. Let's trade up with Carolina.
What they get? It doesn't matter.
It's only 4 spots. I don't know, like 141. I don't really know. Yeah, again, we don't know what it is. It doesn't matter.
Just force a trade here. Just force it.
Who's the wide receiver they trade up for then?
I'll say Ladd.
They're worried about Kansas City, maybe?
Maybe.
So let's say Ladd. Let's say... I don't think they trade up for Troy.
I don't think so either.
As much as I love
Xavier. Lad or
Xavier.
Xavier. Those are the two there. I don't think it's Keon. You guys know, I don't think it's gonna be Keon, Roman, or Ricky. Look,
I'd
one of these
add
guys
Ricky in
can
there.
sneak.
I'd add Ricky in there. Based off what I'm hearing. We'll add Franklin in there just for fun.
Just for fun.
Okay, so you can choose between Lad, Ricky, Xavier, Troy. But vote in the chat now. Let's see.
Let's see what people say.
Oh man, it keeps changing. It literally just changed 4 times. Again, vote in the chat there, guys. As we're coming to the end here. We're very close to the end. This was fun.
Good practice.
A lot of, it might not look exactly like this. Some of this might be a little bit silly, but I like that we practice the trade up and the trade down. And honestly, the real NFL draft will have way more trades anyway.
It's going to be... How many trades were there last year in the NFL draft?
That's a good question.
How many trades were...
There were 41 trades in the whole draft. In round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We had 6 in round 1. The Kincaid move up. The Banks move up. The Broderick Jones move up. Jalen Carter, Paris Johnson, Will Anderson.
Look at the gaps, though.
Yeah.
25 to 20, or 27 to 25, 25 to 24, 17 to 14, 10 to 9. The biggest gap was from 12 to 6 for Detroit and the Cardinals. All right, and actually the Texans and the Cardinals as well, from 12 to 3. So
the pick is in, Badaki.
The pick is in.
So
Lad the Space Creator, they call him.
The Panthers trade up for Georgia wide receiver Lad McConkey. And, my favorite comp for Lad McConkey was Deontay Johnson, but better after the catch. And now, is 2 of the same thing bad? No, I don't think so. I think 2 of the same thing will work out really well. Both of these guys can create separation with ease. Let's help Bryce Young as much as we can. Now we've got the Ravens on the clock. Another team that, I'll be honest, I have no idea what to do. I have no idea.
Look at these edges. I have no idea what they need. A Chop. Oh, Chop could be it.
Chop sounds like a Raven, doesn't he?
Chop does sound like a Raven. Andrew, you're the guy here. You know everything. Does Chop make sense? You let us know.
Let's see. With the 30th pick, let's give people some option. The Ravens, let's just say cornerback.
I said this before too. I think wide receiver could go here in the first. I know it's not exciting and Zach hates the landing spot, but I actually do believe they could take another wide receiver.
I would absolutely despise that with everything in me. But I get it. All right, so vote in the chat, guys. You either can choose cornerback, wide receiver, or edge rusher.
I think this is nice for big old Chop boy. Chop the Raven. Chop the Raven. Let's see what people are saying. People are saying wide receiver 56%. Okay.
Wow, we're really about to get the Ravens a wide receiver here.
Edge.
Oh, wait. It's swinging.
It's swinging.
It's swinging. Make a pick. What's up, pimp? Caleb, what's up?
What's happening, baby?
Love these streams, though. I always love these streams. Guys, I can't stress how close it is. It has changed like 4 times in the last 10 seconds. So make sure you're voting in the chat here. This is your chance to have your voice heard.
Maybe we'll just do this for the rest of the week. And then we need to do a most accurate. All right, how many picks can we get accurate? Can we get...
I think that's the day of the draft. That's that mock.
That's that one?
Yeah.
What's the number you're going to put on that? How many you think we can actually get right? 1 for sure.
Yeah.
2 for sure.
I'd say.
I'll say 2 for sure.
I'd say 6. Because the thing
6?
is, certain players make a lot of sense, but you don't know who's going to trade up for where. You know what I mean?
I think if we can get at least 10, that's a huge W.
Oh,
Doesn't
10 would
matter
be
where in the
crazy.
draft. Doesn't matter where in the draft, but 10 will be phenomenal.
If you're asking me if we hit on a position rather than a specific name, I think we could hit higher. But a specific name to a team there's so many variables that we don't know. Like one
100%.
trade could change everything, right? Like if the Cardinals trade down, that changes the entire draft. You know?
Yeah. That's what we
okay.
have to predict.
So it's looking like 48% edge rusher here. So with a 30th pick, Chap Robinson comes off the board, and he goes to the Baltimore Ravens. He just sounds like a Raven through and through. The Niners are on the clock here. What do we think, guys? The Niners are on the clock.
Bang, bang, Niner gang.
I really don't know what makes sense for them here. I don't
according
see
to
them
this, they
going
need guard,
interior.
they need tackle, or cornerback.
They are getting pretty old on their offensive line.
According to this.
A-Dumb says Peyton because RIP Greenlaw. I don't hate it. I just don't see them going linebacker in round 1. I don't know, guys. Honestly, I don't think any of us can really predict this well. It's Michael Penix. Hey, let's get crazy. Why don't we? Well, who's the team to trade up? I was gonna say who's trading up for a quarterback here.
The only team that's left is the Giants. Technically, it doesn't have a quarterback.
Do the Giants trade up? Will the Giants, the Raiders?
The Raiders
Saints.
can still trade up for Michael Penix. Yeah.
Giants, Raiders, Saints.
I got way too many.
Maybe the Raiders trade up here. Can we get crazy? Can we get fun?
We can get fun. Raiders.
I love to have fun. Okay, the Raiders are trading up. And they're going to give their round 2 next year to do it. I don't know what it looks like. I don't care. But they're going to grab, with the 31st pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Raiders select Michael Penix Jr. They get the option of the 5th round pick. So they get Penix Jr. and they also get Quinyon Mitchell. It's a nice little haul in round 1. If it only takes a round 2 pick next year, and they think Penix is their guy, why not?
Then the hit rate just goes up even higher.
Yeah, why not? Exactly.
Still in the first round, boys. Doesn't matter.
Still round 1. I mean, this is the Lamar Jackson route. Different player, but what the Ravens did. Chiefs are on the clock. I don't know what we'll do here, honestly. There's not really an offensive lineman that I love. Jordan Morgan, could make sense. I think Tyler Guyton could make sense. Wide receiver, for sure, could make sense. I'm going to let the people decide, because if I was making the pick, I wouldn't take wide receiver.
Let me jump right in. Yeah, didn't you guys lose Sneeze? Why don't you go with Wiggins? Well, I mean, I don't know.
I would pick Wiggins here if it was me, but I want to see what the people think. They might think with their dynasty mind too much here, and they might want a wide receiver, but I don't know. It could be wide receiver. I think they could go cornerback here. I think Wiggins makes a ton of sense. But I didn't want to force my agenda, you know? It's not.
Sometimes you just have to force it. You forced it.
We had to force certain things. How would you feel if your Giants got Malik Neighbors?
I'll be ecstatic. I honestly don't think we'd do that. We're getting a quarterback.
You think so?
That's how. I think it's 80% quarterback right now. It doesn't matter which top 3 or top 4. We're getting one of those quarterbacks. If the Patriots are legit, we're trading up. I think the Patriots want J.J. McCarthy, and they don't want to draft him at 3 when they know they can get more capital.
So, Daniel Mason says Isaac Orendo to the Chiefs. Imagine the Chiefs go crazy and get Jonathan Brooks or something. But anyway, with the 32nd pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. The Kansas City Chiefs select Nate Wiggins, cornerback, and that is the pick.
And then we'll do it again
It won't let me.
the next day.
It won't let me do it. Oh well. What if we? Okay, you can't pause. I've always hated about their simulator. I wanted to save this as a photo. Oh well. That's
Hold
it.
on, I did it, so I can screenshot it if you want.
Oh, you did it? Okay, yeah. Send that to me on Facebook.
I was following it. I was whatchamacallit, trying to, yeah. I was just trying to follow it because it's on delay.
Yeah, I hear you. Send that to me on Facebook, and I'll have a look at it. But
yep.
There's some. Here we go. Let me open it up for the people. It's always easier to see when, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
So that is the pick. I think tomorrow we'll be reviewing Dynasty teams. The day after, I mean, maybe we use this and somehow make a mock draft out of it or something. I don't know. Like a rookie mock could be fun.
Yeah, that is.
I'm not sure, but
I'm not sure either.
This is the official mock here. If anyone cares. But this was your guys' decisions, so don't forget it. I'm gonna tweet this out.
Your guys' decisions.
Let's see.
Decisions.
Community voted NFL mock 1.0. Let's get some people mad. I want to see you angry.
Does anyone not think the same way I'm thinking? Andrew, you kind of been really vocal this whole live stream. Do you think a team will take 3 first-round draft picks in a draft like this to get JJ McCarthy, who is maybe against their board, not the strongest? Not just Andrew, but everyone. I don't think a team that's in the top 5 or top 6 of this draft class is going to trade back all the way to pick 11.
I just don't. Certainly would consider it.
I just don't think in this draft class that should be possible. I really don't. And maybe I'm weighing this class way too heavy. Maybe I am.
Okay, so you have to ask yourself, do the Vikings want Penix or Nix? Because if they don't trade up, it's Penix or Nix.
Yeah, but it's not based on the Vikings. It's based on the team that wants to trade back.
Well, why wouldn't the Chargers want to trade back? This is an incredible tackle class.
Sure, but trading back to 11 is too far back.
No, it's not. At 11, you still maybe have Jared Verse.
I don't know. I mean, like,
Talise Fuaga might be there. Olu Fashanu might be there.
Sure, might.
Troy Fatanu, J.C. Latham. I think the Chargers, it makes a ton of sense. I don't think it makes much sense for the Cardinals.
And well, people are saying like it could be the Patriots or the Chargers. Those are the 3 teams that they can trade back with.
Patriots would make a ton of sense too. They have so many needs.
Watch the Giants be the one that takes that trade, and JJ McCarthy is just on their lap, and then they go with the Vikings, and we get 3 first-round picks for the future. But I just think with the talent of this class and how top heavy it is, to trade back outside the top 10, it just feels like you're missing out on a tremendous talent, and that can be three talents, sure, two ideal talents in the first round in this class, and then 1 in 2025. And you have to project, because teams are projecting the Vikings. The Vikings have a solid foundation, and the missing quarterback if the missing piece for the Vikings is a quarterback, that 25 projection right now is most likely going to be the second half of that draft. But I could be wrong, and we could see the Vikings trade up and a team get even more.
I think I just put
I
this
don't know.
link in the chat, by the way, in case anyone wants to go look at that over on Twitter. But I think the Patriots and the Chargers make a ton of sense to trade back. And like we just did here, like the Cardinals just did last year, if there's a player they want to trade up for, they can. I think it makes a ton of sense.
I think last year it made sense for a team like the Cardinals to trade back. It was just so smart because of how the positional players, I think there was like top 3 and only top 3 for those. Like the quarterback wasn't strong. You saw the 2 quarterbacks go off and you saw the fall, and then you saw the 2 offensive or defensive guys go, and then you saw the fall. You saw the same thing with the offensive tackles, and they saw the fall. The wide receivers didn't go until the late first, so that it made sense there. But like you have genuinely, I think we can. I don't say not generational talent, but at least you have generational talents in each position in the first 3 picks. That's quarterback, wide receiver, offensive tackle. I'm not gonna throw edge in because I don't know too much about the edge class. But the fact that you can have those guys within that first round that are quote unquote generational, it's pretty big to lose out on, to then hope that you're gonna hit on 2 other players in this class.
Who's to say that those players will hit anyway?
100%, 1,000%. I completely agree on that. Like, yeah, those guys, and it's going to be based on each and every single NFL team's grade on those players.
Yeah.
But like, if Marvin Harrison Jr. is on the board for the Chargers, and the Vikings are calling them for 3 first-round picks,
how would you feel about? Okay, so come back to me when the Giants drafted Evan Neal. Would you feel good if they drafted back for a package like that now? Because at the moment, it was like you cannot miss with Evan Neal.
100%. And I think
you would have done that.
I mean, that's us knowing, but this is you projecting. That's the projection.
That's what I'm telling you.
These
though.
players.
Like, you can't know. Ultimately, it's a very good class around the board. So, yeah, I mean, I just think, again, you can move up and down a board, and it's a very good class in a lot of different areas that have a lot of different needs for those teams. But I don't know. Ultimately, we'll find out, and it won't really matter that much.
I think if I'm a GM in the top 5 of this class or top 6 of this class, I'm really struggling to take those first-round picks, no matter how my team looks like, because I know who I'm getting. That's how I feel right now.
Yeah.
But once again, I could be completely wrong, and we'll see the Vikings in the top 5 on Thursday night, and we're saying, well, a team took that trade, and we're going to see how that trade pans out in the next 2-3 years.
Yeah.
So
Andrew says, what if you posted Discord rounds 2 to 4? I'll be honest with you, Andrew, this isn't probably a good answer, but I think that would take so much time. And like, are you suggesting we vote on every pick in the Discord? I don't know that I have the patience to do that today. Do you know what I mean, Vadaki? Like, it's probably not a good answer, but I'm just thinking about the outworking of that. And also, how few people probably know offensive tackles, DBs, edge rushers in the 3rd round. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we're going to get very good answers.
If you want to lead that, and then you do that mock following this mock draft that we just did, sure.
Better idea.
But like,
Andrew is obviously an expert. So why don't we let him decide rounds 2 to 4? Okay? Andrew, if you want to make a 7-round mock, okay, then you do exactly what we just did here today. Okay, you can look on Twitter and just choose those exact picks on PFF. Go to round 7 if you want, and we'll use that as the mock draft We'll use that as the next rookie mock draft is what we're saying. Okay, Andrew, come on, brother. Supposed to be the expert here. What do you mean you got 4 in you but not 7?
How about this, Andrew? Because let's be honest, we never even pick players in the 6th or 7th round. Rarely. How about if you could do minimum 5? Yeah, you just said 5. Minimum 5. I think that would be good.
Chasing says you got your homework for your troublemaking. Yeah. Okay. Go 5 rounds. Do exactly what we just did today. You can like that. That's over there on the Twitter. You can do pick by pick. Go 5 rounds, and then when we do our mock draft, not tomorrow but the next day, we'll use that. We'll use that mock all together. The only thing is we'll have to get that in like a spreadsheet somehow, but we'll figure that out. But that's it for today, guys. We appreciate you big time. Thanks for hanging out. This was fun. Friendly reminder, we'll be live on our redraft channel during the draft, reacting to everything. An hour before, we'll do a predictive mock as well. But we appreciate you guys. We'll see you tomorrow night. And all love. This is a fun time. Fun time to be alive.
Fun time to be alive. We appreciate you guys.